Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. This is your Manchester United, Newcastle United preview. It's at Old Trafford. It's Sunday night, 7 o'clock, kick-off. We recently beat Real Sociedad 4-0 in the Europa League round of 32 first leg. Goals came from Bruno Fernandes, he scored 2. Rashford scored and Daniel James scored, and it was a very good performance by Manchester United. So we've got a lot of confidence going into this game against Newcastle. We beat Newcastle at St James's Park earlier on this season 4-1. We're beating them at Old Trafford last season 4-1. The last time Newcastle beat us at Old Trafford was back in 2013. It was a goal from Cabaye. Newcastle are a very, very poor team. They're sitting 17th in the Premier League, so they are facing a relegation battle. Their current manager is Steve Bruce. Steve Bruce has been Newcastle manager for like 19 months. He's been there since July 2019, and I'm surprised that Steve Bruce is still there. Before, Newcastle had Rafa Benitez. I think they should have kept Rafa Benitez, but Rafa Benitez did resign. Steve Bruce has brought quite a few players in at Newcastle. He obviously brought Callum Wilson in. Callum Wilson is out with injury. He brought Jamal Lewis in. He brought Ryan Fraser in. He brought Jeff Hendricks in. And he brought that Joseph Wilcock in. They've got some good players of Newcastle, you know, I do like that Maximin. They've got Joelinton. They've got Dwight Gale. They've got Andy Carroll. They've got Sean Longstaff and Matty Longstaff. They've got Jamal Lascelles. They've got that Fernandes. Fernandes is actually out with injury. They've got Matt Ritchie. They've got Kieran Clark. They've got John Joe Shelby. I think Carl Darlow is a pretty good goalkeeper for Newcastle. I thought Cabaye was a good player for them when they had him. I thought Yedlin was quite good for them. Newcastle let him go. But we should be winning this game. We need to get back to winning ways in the Premier League. We've only won one of our last, 5 Premier League games. We drew our last league game with West Brom 1-1. That was a very, very disappointing result, and it was a poor performance. Solskjaer actually came out after that game and said we are still in the title race, and we will not settle for second in this title race. I've totally disregarded the title. A lot of Manchester United fans have disregarded the title. You know, because Manchester City are 10 points clear of us, so Manchester City are the champions elect. So our aim now this season is to finish in the top 4, and I can almost assure that we are going to finish in the top 4. You know, we dropped points against Everton the other week. You know, we drew 3-3. That's a game we should have definitely won because we squandered a 2-goal lead. We was leading twice in that game. Solskjaer made an admission after the game against Everton, and he said we shouldn't be considered as title chasers. We obviously lost to Sheffield United earlier on this season. We should have beaten them. We also dropped points against Arsenal. I think Solskjaer in this game will make changes from the 4-0 win against Real Sociedad recently. On my next video, I will be giving you my reaction to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference ahead of this game. I think he has already done it. Now, we know that Paul Pogba is out for the rest of this February. That's been confirmed by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Paul Pogba has got a thigh injury, so he should be back at some time in March. Before Paul Pogba got this thigh injury, he was in very, very good form. He's done well in recent months. Earlier on this season, Paul Pogba had an ankle injury. He was out for the vast majority of last season with an ankle injury, so he's sustained a few injuries now at Man United. Now, it said the other week that we'd held talks with Paul Pogba regarding his future. And Solskjaer says that Paul Pogba's happy at the club, and Solskjaer suggested Paul Pogba could sign a new contract. Last month it said that Paul Pogba was considering making a U-turn at the club, and he contradicted his agent Mino Raiola for the second time. But yeah, there's still a chance Pogba will leave in the summer. He's had a long-running transfer saga. 3 clubs want him: Real Madrid, PSG and Juventus. I think there's a good chance he'll go back to Juventus because he enjoyed 4 very good years with Juventus before he rejoined Manchester United, and reports from Italy recently said that Juventus offered us 4 players in exchange for Paul Pogba. We have revealed our asking price for Pogba. We want £100 million. I'm very sceptical we'll get £100 million. Mino Raiola is desperate to get Pogba out of the club in the summer. He recently admitted he's working quietly on Paul Pogba's transfer to avoid offence, because Mino Raiola's been criticised a lot and he doesn't have a good relationship with Man United. Back in December, he did make an announcement, Mino Raiola, regarding Paul Pogba, and Solskjaer was furious with Mino Raiola's announcement because it was just before the game against RB Leipzig in the Champions League. Earlier on this season, we triggered that 1-year extension on Pogba's contract, so he's under contract with the club until June 2022. This is his 5th season since he rejoined. We paid £89 million for him, so he's our most expensive signing at the moment. So yeah, he won't play any part against Newcastle on Sunday. Donny van de Beek and Edison Cavani didn't play against Real Sociedad recently. Solskjaer confirmed prior to the game against Real Sociedad that they've both got muscle injuries. I think they would have been involved though if they'd have been available. Donny van de Beek has played nowhere near as much as I expected. Most of Donny van de Beek's appearances have come from the bench. He's only started 2 games in the league this season. Solskjaer promised Donny van de Beek more game time at the club, and Solskjaer made an admission saying that Donny van de Beek is unhappy at Manchester United because of his lack of game time. He needs more chances. He's a good player. We got him in a deal worth £40 million. We paid £35 million up front, and there was £5 million in add-ons. Van de Beek's got a contract with the club until 2025. And Edison Cavani, you know, he's made a fantastic impact since he's come in. Edinson Cavani's future's been decided. He wants to stay at Manchester United beyond this season. We've yet to trigger that 1 year extension on his contract. Edinson Cavani has just 4 months left on his current contract. We got Edinson Cavani last summer on a free transfer. He signed a 1 year contract with Man United with an option of a 2nd year. But Cavani scores goals, his movement in and out of the box is good, his hold-up play is good. And I've got to say now he has overtaken Anthony Martial. Anthony Martial, he came on against Real Sociedad and he was actually a doubt prior to that game. You know, Martial has been out of form for the vast majority of this season. I've said, you know, Solskjaer needs to drop Anthony Martial. You know, he's had chances this season, but he just hasn't converted them. You know, I don't think he's got a long-term future at Man United. I think we're in search for a new number 9. Martial was good last season, and he was good in his debut season under Louis van Gaal. Martial's been at the club now over 5 years. Solskjaer was actually one that gave Anthony Martial that number 9 shirt. Scott McTominay, he played against Real Sociedad. He was also a doubt prior to that game. It was good to see Amad Diallo Traore come on in the game against Real Sociedad and make his first team debut. You know, showed his skills and tricks. Amad Diallo Traore could be making his first start for Man United next week in the 2nd leg against Real Sociedad at Old Trafford. That's been confirmed by Solskjaer. But I said, you know, Amad Diallo Traore will be good assets for the first team. He's been doing very, very well for the under-23s. And I think Solskjaer needs to give Dean Henderson a run in goal. I think Dean Henderson is now reliable enough to become our number 1. Because he's got that experience behind him. He endured 2 successful loans with Sheffield United. And the games Dean Henderson's played in this season, he's done very, very well. And he did well against Sociedad. You know, he made a couple of good saves when he was called upon. But Solskjaer's actually admitted that it's becoming more and more difficult to leave Dean Henderson out of the side. You know, I think we need to keep David De Gea out of the team. But probably David De Gea is going to be back in goal against Newcastle. I think David De Gea is a liability because he has made calamitous mistakes in the last couple of years. A few years ago, David De Gea was regarded as the best goalkeeper in the world. You know, this is his 10th season at Manchester United, so he has been a long servant. And I think he's going to remain our number 1 for at least this season. When he does eventually leave Manchester United, he'll go back to Spain. Gary Neville was talking recently, saying that Solskjaer must deal with the goalkeeper situation. And he says, you know, we need to get a world-class goalkeeper to replace David De Gea. But we don't need one because obviously we have got Dean Henderson. I am Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in. I think he's made very, very good progress at Manchester United. Obviously, we've endured bad periods. You know, we haven't done well in the league recently. We was poor at the first part of this season. And I've got to say, Solskjaer was lucky not to be sacked earlier on this season, reflecting how inconsistent we was. And the first part of last season, we was poor. We endured our worst start to a Premier League season for 30 years. but we've had as good periods under Ole. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been criticised a lot as Manchester United manager. Is it fair to criticise Solskjaer? You know, Solskjaer deserves credit. He's got us to the FA Cup quarter-finals. It will be a tough game though against Leicester. You know, he's got us to the last 16 of the Europa League. You know, this season got us to the EFL Cup semi-final, lost 2-0 to Man City. We've got a very, very good away record in the Premier League. We haven't lost away from home in the Premier League for over a year. We are unbeaten in our last 9 away games in all competitions. We've been far better away from home than we have been at home. You know, we've won a few home games now this season, but all our defeats have come at Old Trafford this season. Solskjaer did really, really well last season in his first full season at the club. Got us qualification for the Champions League and got us third. Guided us to 3 semi-finals. We went on a 19-game unbeaten run in all competitions last season and was 14 unbeaten in the Premier League until Palace had beaten us on the opening day of this season. And Solskjaer, you know, has made good signings as Manchester United manager. In the summer of 2019, he brought Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire in. You know, January of last year, he brought Bruno Fernandes in and Odi Nagalo in on loan. The summer transfer window of last year, he brought Donny van de Beek in, Alex Telles, Edison Cavani, Facundo Palestri and Amad Diallo Traore. We got 4 of those players on deadline day, by the way, last summer. And Solskjaer has got rid of a lot of the deadwood since he got recommended in. We saw a few players leaving the January transfer window. We saw Jesse Lingard go out on loan to West Ham. We saw Tiedemann Mengi go out on loan. Odi Nagalo said his farewell to the club. We let Facundo Palestri go out on loan. Marcus Rojo left the club. And Timothy Fosu-Mensah left the club. But like I say, this year's summer transfer window is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's biggest transfer window in his managerial career. We must make signings in the summer. And the board must back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer because I don't think the board have backed him enough in the transfer windows he has endured so far. Ole has endured 4 transfer windows as permanent Man United manager. Like I updated you this morning, Solskjaer wants 3 summer signings. And he's set to have talks with Ed Woodward over our business in the next couple of weeks. Solskjaer wants a forward, a right winger and a centre half. And it says we are prepared to smash our transfer record in the summer. And apparently Ed Woodward's set to hand Ole Gunnar Solskjaer a huge war chest to sign top players in all areas. But Woodward's come out several times to show his support for Ole. He did say towards the end of last year he will back him with a long-term plan centred around summer transfer windows. A lot of United fans have been demanding the board out for a while because the board's been one of the biggest problems at the club. Woodward's been at the club since 2012 and the Glazers have been at the football club since 2005. Now, you know the news on Jules Koundé from Sevilla. The Spanish outlet La Razón have said we are considered the favourites to sign Jules Koundé. He's our number 1 target for the summer. We are prepared to pay £61 million for the player. His performances this season for Sevilla have been outstanding. He's made around 72 appearances for Sevilla. He's got a contract with them till 2024. Sevilla paid £22 million for him from Bordeaux in the summer of 2019. Do you think he'd go well alongside Harry Maguire in our back line? Real Madrid also want Jules Koundé. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer would love to sign Erling Haaland. Be good to see Solskjaer reunite with the player. Solskjaer knows Erling Haaland really, really well, because Solskjaer was the one that gave Haaland his debut at Molde, and he was just the age of 16. Solskjaer recently revealed that he's following Erling Haaland's progress, because he recently made a new Erling Haaland transfer admission and opened up on the Erling Haaland relationship. Back in December 2019, Woodward and Solskjaer went to meet up with Haaland to negotiate a possible move to Manchester United. Since Erling Haaland's arrival at Dortmund, he has been a revelation. I think he scored like 40 goals now for Dortmund. Dortmund paid just £17 million for him. He's under contract with Dortmund until 2024. He does have a £68 million release clause, does Erling Haaland, but it doesn't become active until next year. There's a good chance he will leave Dortmund in the summer. Erling Haaland's father, Alf Inge Haaland, was talking about his son's transfer links to Man United earlier on this season. Yesterday, I give you the news on Harry Kane. Reports were saying that Tottenham have set their asking price for Harry Kane. It's 150 million, which is a British record transfer fee. Harry Kane has been at Tottenham like 17 years. He's been in their senior squad since 2009. I think he scored like 156 goals in 228 appearances in the Premier League for Tottenham. He's got a contract with Tottenham till 2024 and he's on £200,000 a week. Harry Kane hasn't won anything in terms of silverware at Tottenham, but he's obviously won the Golden Boot and that a couple of times. But we've been in for Harry Kane for several years. But it says us and Manchester City are interested in him. And it looks like Tottenham aren't going to qualify for the Champions League. Kane's regarded as one of the best strikers in the world because his link-up play is good, his hold-up play is quite good at times, and he's a prolific goal scorer. Kane's 27, nearly 28. He's had loan spells as well with Leyton Orient, Millwall, Norwich and Leicester. But £150 million is way too much for Harry Kane. He certainly isn't worth that, despite him being a good striker. As you all know, there's a good chance we'll sign Jadon Sancho in the summer. £60 million has been quoted. We recently said we believe we can get Jadon Sancho for just £50 million. Kicker via Sports Witness recently said that a Jadon Sancho transfer is coming in the summer. So Dortmund are expecting him to leave. Earlier on this season, Dortmund reduced their asking price for Sancho to £88 million. So they're not £20 million off, because Dortmund's valuation last summer was £108 million and we was not willing to meet that valuation. Last summer, Sancho was our number one priority target. But I'm expecting us to do business in the summer despite the coronavirus pandemic, because Solskjaer said the other week our summer transfer plans could be affected by the pandemic. Like I've said in regards to Solskjaer, he must win a trophy at Manchester United to avoid the sack. A club of our stature need to be winning trophies. We haven't won a trophy since 2017. The FA Cup is a chance of a trophy, and the Europa League is a chance of a trophy. Solskjaer recently admitted that nobody spoke to him over a new contract. He said a few weeks ago, we will wait until the end of the season to begin contract talks with Solskjaer. He says, we will offer him a new 2-year deal. That's if we qualify for the Champions League and keep pushing for the title. Solskjaer's into the final 18 months of his current contract. He signed a 3-year contract back in March 2019, but I probably think Solskjaer does deserve a new contract reflecting on the progress he's made. I don't know if he's a long-term manager for us, but like I've said, he's going to be given at least another season. This is his 3rd season and his 2nd full season. Reflecting now on Solskjaer's been at the football club, he has gained some managerial experience. Man United is the 3rd club in his managerial career. Before he came to us, he was at Molde. He won a few Norwegian titles at Molde. And before he was at Molde, he was at Cardiff. And his record at Cardiff was absolutely disastrous. You know, we did appoint Solskjaer in December 2018 to replace Jose Mourinho. In Solskjaer's first 3 months, he was the interim manager. He did very, very well as interim manager, so the club decided to give him the job permanently in March 2019. I think the best games we've had under Solskjaer is the 6-2 win against Leeds earlier on this season and the 9-0 win against Southampton. We've had other good games as well though. You know, the PSG game was a good game. That was Solskjaer's last game as interim manager. We beat PSG 3-1. That was a very, very good game against Sociedad recently. But you've got to probably say Solskjaer is our best manager since Ferguson. He is our 4th permanent manager since Ferguson retired. 3 managers have been sacked since Ferguson retired, and that was David Moyes, Louis van Gaal and Jose Mourinho. But yeah, like I say, Solskjaer does need more time. I already said to you, one of my biggest concerns about Ole is his decision making. Because in a lot of his games at Man United, he has been tactically naive, but there's also been some games where he has showed tactical flexibility as well. And I think we've got to start beating the big teams in the Premier League this season, you know, because we've struggled against the top 6 sides in the Premier League this season, and people say you've got to beat the top 6 sides, or at least some of them, if you are to be genuine title contenders. After Newcastle, as you all know, it's Real Sociedad in the 2nd leg of the Europa League round of 32. Basically, we are through now, and then it's Chelsea. You know, Chelsea's going to be a tough test because Chelsea have done very, very well since Thomas Tuchel's come in. He got appointed in earlier on this season because obviously Chelsea sacked Frank Lampard after 18 months in charge. And after Chelsea, it's Manchester City, and that's going to be a very, very difficult game. So anyway guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.